Hey everyone, welcome to another live stream. Let me take care of couple of things. Mhm. Mhm. Hello. Mhm. Mhm. So the target is to code for 3 hours, but not like straight. So I'll be taking break, right? So 60 into 5. So 5 hours, sorry. That's 300 minutes, right? To change the color also. Uh, Pick a color. This one I want it to be. This is good. So whenever I take a pause, we'll pause this timer, right? So it should be like 300 minutes pure coding, and I'll be taking breaks and whatnot in between. So, but will not change this timer. This will remain here only. Or we can also watch timer. Timer is like 3. Yeah, this is good. So I'll set 2 timers. Okay. Yesterday we left it around this heap thing, and then we have uh, try also, graphs also, DP also, greedy also. So I'm gonna start with DP because I like DP a lot, and it's been a while since I did that. And then we have this graph also remaining, and then advanced graph also. So a lot of problems to do. If we get bored, then we can take a look at linked list as well. But yeah, if anyone is new, this is just an introductory thing here. On the right side, let me make this. Instead of received this much, would it be better to say mm, Cool. I think we can get started now, or I'll just give it a minute or so. Let me just check if my voice is all good. Mm, Cool. Uh, we have good amount of. Mhm. Cool. I think we can get started. I'll just hide this panel for now, and we'll start from DP itself, right? Uh, so DP in DP generally always we have choices, right? So let's start this and start this as well. Or maybe we can say refresh and start. So both of the timers will be running hmm, around the same time. So just that. Cool. Okay. So let me just check my pencil is charged. It's not charged. So DP generally DP we have choices. We have to find optimal things. Generally that is the hint that a question can give us. So we'll be practicing DP in this one. So let's get started. Climbing stair will start from easy to hard only. Nothing fancy here. You are climbing stair, it takes n step to reach the top. Each time you either climb one step or you take two step, right? So you have options. You can either take one step or you can take step fit. How many distinct ways? So in two, you can either take one, that's one way, or you directly take two, right? That's another way. If you become greater than zero, then that's not a possible way, right? So what I'm gonna do is public int solve int n and int I, right? So if I is equal to n, that means that that's one way, return one, right? If I is greater than n, then you just return zero. So then you have option. First option is that you take one step. Second option is that you take two steps from there, right? And in the end, then answer will be option one plus option two. So return solve n of zero. Now we'll memorize it. DP is equal to new array list, not array list. DP is equal to new int n plus 1. If DP of I is not equal to null, return DP of I. DP of I is equal to this, and I'll make this integer so that it can accommodate that thing, right? Cool. Hey, hi Kamal. I am now in my final year. I can never get started. Now I'm worried about job, etc. How can I even get started? That's okay, bro. You don't have to worry. You just have to uh, learn a coding language. So final year is never too late. You just need 6 to 8 months to get a decent job, and then if you want to get a best job, you can keep working hard, right? So that's the way to go. Which one looks better? This one looks better, right? Or no, let me get rid of this new page. Just need to pick a language and then start solving these problems. If you are not able to solve, then you can take the. I did start with CPP, but I am more aligned to data analysis as. Yeah, you can go with Python. I think LeetCode videos are also with Python. Start with Python, start solving the problems, and go to LeetCode and see the interview experience at SD1 level, right? And start applying also. So plenty of today also I have a plan to create a video. I've created a roadmap on how to get started. I'll be uploading that, but I'll be doing that in 3 to 4 days of timeline. So probably you can watch other videos on YouTube. There are plenty of videos out there. You need to know a DS language, yeah, programming language, which would be Python in your case, and then start coding, right? That's the way to get. And you are not late. So just want to clarify that. No one is ever late. So yeah, get started. If you're just procrastinating, then that's a problem. But don't do that. So one problem down. Let's start the timer. I'll take a look at the chat in a minute. You are given an integer array cost where cost is the cost of ith step. So each step has a cost. Once you pay the cost, you can either climb one step. Once you pay this, you can either go to this or you can go to the next one, right? Either go to next or you can skip it and go to the next one. So you can either start with the zeroth index or with the plus index. So basically, public int solve int cost int I int n is equal to cost dot length. If I is greater than equal to n, then you return 0 because you have reached the. Otherwise, you can take this and then say that I want to make a jump of 2, or you can say that I want to take this and I want to make a jump of 1, and in the end you can return math.min of option 1 comma option 2, and on the top you can start from both, right? Math.min of solve cost of 0 or solve cost of 1, right? Because those are the two options that you can start with. And then you'll have int, no, that's it. Do you need anything else? No. So this will give us TLE, which we already know we need to memorize it because there could be different cases, right? We are breaking the bigger problems into overlapping sub-problems. Overlapping is the case here. So that's the main gist of the DP. So you have 10, you have 10, 15, and 20, right? 0, 1, 2. So the tree will be like when you have I is equal to 0, then either you can go to I is equal to 1 and then you can go to I is equal to 2. From here you can either go to I is equal to 2 or you can go I is equal to 3. From here you can go I is equal to 3. So here these are the repetitions, overlapping sub-problems. So for that I'll memorize it. Public integer dp dp is equal to new integer cost dot length plus 1 if dp of I is not equal to null, return dp of I, and then you store it also. Dp of I is equal to submit. Cool. Take a pause. See if anything is there in the chat. Yep, only Kamal has asked the question. So Kamal, it is never late. Just Everyone, please feel free to ask if anyone has any more questions. Everyone, please feel free to ask. Joining. Okay, closing the chat now. You are planning an robbery to rob a house along a street. Each house has certain amount of money stashed. Okay, is that adjacent out of if you can't steal from two houses. So if you steal from one, you have to skip the next one. Very simple, similar to the old one, right? If I is greater than equal to n, just return nums, return 0. Option 1 is that you can steal from this, but you can't steal from the next one, right? I plus 1. The option 2 is that you are saying that okay, I don't want to steal from this one, I want to steal from next one. So there's a typo on the top. So and then you return maximum of both. Public integer. So return solve nums and 0. You can either do it or you can pick it. And now I'm not gonna do the memoized version of it. Uh, if dp of I is not equal to null, you return dp of I. And then you also do dp of I here. That's good. Hello, Arams. When I was not looking at the chat because I started coding, right? Uh, Let me look at the chat now. Okay, I'll answer Sunny Punia's question, how to increase speed in DSA problem solving. So to improve speed, you should do LeetCode contests, right? So LeetCode contests. So there is an option to do virtual uh, There's a option to do virtual contest like this. So you can participate in a virtual contest and then you can track your speed, right? So like if you want to be really good, like from a company level standpoint, right, not from a DSA standpoint, try to aim solving the first three problems of LeetCode contest within 40 minutes. 45 minutes. Bro, I can answer in English, Ramad. Uh, this is like solely meant for English if people know English. If I start speaking in Hindi, then others won't be able to understand. Cool. If you do contest regularly, then what's your average time? Like how much time you take in solving the first three problems? Four might be little hard. Generally, it is very hard. So that's the thing. Yeah, that's good. If you're able to solve only two, then try to solve them in uh, then you can able to solve them in yeah, so you need to practice more, Sunny. If you solve more and more, right, you'll be able to solve those two problems in like 30 minutes. Then you'll reach a stage where you'll solve those in 15 minutes. It's just that you have to practice again and again. So, for example, there are 452 weekly contests, right? So you can aim in solving, revising all of these. So basically, you have 400 contests to go through. So that's what I would suggest, right? So participate in virtual contest and then participates in actual contest, right? There might be contest happening tomorrow. Yeah, there is a contest tomorrow, right? Instead of you participate in these also, but you work in these as well, right? So, it's all practice, bro. So keep on practicing. That's all you should do. So how long should we try for a question? I would say don't try more than 45 minutes because that's how much time you'll get in an interview anyway, right? If you're aiming to clear the interviews, that's your sole aim for doing DSA, then spending more than after a stage, right? If you let's say you're a beginner and then you if you're a beginner and then you don't know different then probably you then spend one hour. But once you have solved these 150, after that I think spending more than 45 minutes it's like it's okay, you can spend 1 hour 2 hours, but 45 minutes, if you're not able to do it concentrated, 45 minutes is good enough. Then it's always good to watch a video about the same solution or read the so 45 minutes. So I have along the same lines, today I have kind of created a plan of a video which I'm going to create, so I'll be answering this one in detail there. That's okay, man. I have solved more than 3,000 problems. Still, my speed is okay. So people have solved more than 10,000 problems. So if you do lead code contest, you could be able to see the top performers solve all these in 4 to 5 minutes, right? They solve so many problems, so it's okay. 500, if you're at 500 and taking 30-40 minutes, that's okay, I would say. You are going in the right track. So revise the concepts. Aram, it's all practice. In which language you I use Java for programming, bro. I use Java. Yeah, bro, I replied to your question. Yes, sir. Okay, bro, and now I'll jump to solving problems for another 10-15 minutes, right? And then I'll take a look at the chat. Yes, I know Python as well, Aram. So in college I did Python as well. Yeah, it's spread over 3 years, Solaris. So, so I have spread over 3 years. So probably 1500 are on LeetCode and 1000 are on GFG and then 500 on Code Forces and then cumulated of 500 on CodeChef, Hacker Earth and Skill Rack used to be there. It will come more than 4000. Bro, Aram, let's talk about DSA or design. Don't have to bring religion into the picture. Yeah, with Java you can do MDev. I am not good with code forces, bro. Solaris. My main is on a DSA. Like that's why I don't call myself a competitive programmer. That's just meant for uh, code forces. Like that's just meant for competitive programming mostly, right? Mm, cool. Okay, I'll be moving to Shivam Maurya. How can I improve my logical thinking? Just give me a couple of minutes, bro. I'll answer this one. Uh, so you are a professional. Let's start this. We have only spent 10 minutes and this stream has been for. Okay. So one way to solve this problem is like either I pick I is equal to 0th and then I don't pick last, right? I can have a flag saying that whether I picked I is equal to 0, right? If I picked, then I can't pick last. But how can I use the same function where either you pick the element or you not pick, right? So 0, 1, 2. So every time you can decide a starting point, right? If you start with this, I can start with this and then end it here itself, or I can start with this and end it in the end. That way I can think of it. I can have a start point and end point, right? Both will be fixed. Only thing that will be changing will be I, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So let's see if that works. Public int nums. So int I and int n, right? So if I is greater than equal to n, then you basically return 0. Uh, so you have option. Either you can take nums of I and then go ahead with nums of I2, or you can go with I plus 1 and then you return math dot max of option 1 and option 2, and then if dp of I is not equal to null, you return dp of I, and dp of I is equal to this, right? And public int deep uh, integer dp, and dp is equal to new integer nums dot length, right? So this is the first case. Now what I need to do next is, right, so int option 1 is where I am saying that I'll take the first but I'll not take the last, right? So that will be -1. And in option 2 will be I'm not even considering this. So that will be nums dot length. So and then you'll say return math dot max of option 1, option 2, and I will have to re-initialize this dp array. That's one way of doing this. Let's see if this works or not. Oh, so in nums, and you need n as n, uh, nums and n. So if there is only one length, so basically here also it is not going then. Yeah, this I can handle separately. Can I not handle this one in his only? Mhm. In this one, right? I cannot take this. So probably if nums dot length is less than equal to return nums of 0, you only have one house. But is there a different way to handle this one? Okay. Okay, I'll take a pause now, see if anyone has any questions for me in chat. Sorry, Arshad, bro. Okay, next problem. Not looking at the chat for another 30 minutes now. It's going to be complete focused. Or 20 minutes, let's say. So, given a string, return the longest palindromes in an S, right? So, palindrome is left and right, it should be same. So, for example, ABA is a palindrome. ABA. Now, one thing of palindrome is that it could be of even length or odd length, right? So, you could start from here, go to left and right. If it is of even, you match these two characters. If it is of odd, you start with this same character, right? So, what I'm saying is I and I. This is for odd length, and I plus 1. This is for even length. So uh, these two cases could be there, right? Now one solution that could be like a boot force, that I check each substring PABAD and I look. Oh, why is not showing here? Oh, now it is coming. Okay, let me get rid of this. So everything, I'll put it again. So it could be ABA or it could be AA, right? So this is like odd, this is even, this is like I, and I case, this is I and I plus 1 case, right? Now this is the solution when we want to achieve n square, but n cube is one where you have like you ABC, you try substring A, AB, and ABC, B, BC, C, right? All the substrings. So first of all, finding all the substrings would be, I think, n cube, and then looking around whether it is a palindrome or not. So it would be n square. Checking for palindrome would be n cube. Here you can start from this and this in the middle, and then it would be like one loop would be reduced from that, so that will become n square. And 1000 is there, so that is 10 raised to power 3. And when you have n square, so that is like 10 raised to power 3. So 10 raised to power 6, right? So that would work in that case. So that's how I'm going to solve it, this one now. Okay. So basically we start from the mid, right, and then check whether that is a palindrome or not. So we need just a palindrome function and it is going to return the length of that palindrome, right? So what you can do is, so let's call n is equal to s dot length, and for int I is equal to 0, I less than s dot I less than n, and I. So this could be our starting point, right? So int odd would be uh, palin. So let's call it just a helper. So s and I, right, for odd. Int even would be helper s I and I plus 1, right? Uh, that's how I am thinking. Now, what these would return, that is crucial for us, right? So public, okay. So public public int helper string s. So that is the end and that is the j, right? So if let's say your this is less than, then that's only your length, right? Because this could be out of bounds. So by default one length could be there, right? Yeah, so now what I'm going to do here is while I is greater than equal to 0 and we need n also, right? Because we'll be going outside, so let's, and we don't need, and n is equal to s dot length, and j is greater than, j is less than n. If s dot char at I is equal to s dot char at j, then you do I minus minus j plus plus, else you break it. So this is not in, right? So then what you will do is you'll make I plus plus and j minus minus, because this part itself is only the palindrome, right? And then I'm going to return new int. This is going to be the start point and this is going to be the end point. So this is the length of the palindrome, right? And we need a longest one, right? So int odd length is odd of I, odd of 1 minus odd of 0 plus 1, and even length is equal to even of 1 minus even of 0 plus 1. So these are the lengths, right? Now int max length is equal to 0 and starting point is equal to 0, right? Now if odd length is greater than max length, then your start point will be odd of 0 and your max length will be odd length. If your even length is greater than max length, so your start would be even of 0 and max length will be even length. This way you have some length and then you return s dot substring st plus max length. This seems it should work, but let's see. Cool, nice, in a one go. So I'll take a break now and pause this. Show chat. Hello, Farhan. Hello. Hello. So far we have solved 5 problems and in around 25 minutes. Long way to go. Given a string as return the number of palindromic substrings in a string and when it reads same as word. A substring is the continuous. Same as backward ABC. There are. How can I do this one? So this one I have also not solved. So basically, number of palindromes, so palindrome and same and okay. So we have A, B, C. I can either start A if I go with each, picking up each substring and then checking. Then that would be again NQ, but we have to do it in N square. Hmm. So what if either I start from here, then check whether okay. Hmm. How about just like we did that, right? So every time, hmm, so this A, B, C, right? Each palindrome can start from this could be the mid, right, for it. And it could be either even or odd length, right? Just like we did the previous one. So let's say I start from A, B, A, right? So from this B, this is one, this is another, this is three, right? Just like we did the last question, we can solve this one as well. Makes sense. Makes sense. So just like we did another one, so for int I is equal to 0 less than s dot length I plus plus int even length int even is equal to helper s I plus 1 uh, int odd is equal to helper s I, so this would be odd and so let's implement these one first. Mm, public int helper string s int I int j int n is equal to s dot length and while I is greater than equal to 0 and j is less than n. If s dot caret I equal to s dot caret j, this is a substring, right? So you do count I minus minus j plus plus, else you break, right? And then you return count. Uh, int count is equal to 0, and then you say that bigger count is equal to even plus odd. So int count is equal to 0, return count. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you have intercepted a secret message. Uh, so for one, see number, if it is not starting with 0, then it is a valid number. Right, so single digit also, 2, 6 also could be anything. So basically, if it is in a hash map, then only it can be, right? Length should be 0 or 1, and it should be in a hash map. Length should be 0 or 1, and should be in a map. Then it is a valid option, right? So what if we create a hash map of all the numbers and then do it that way? Hmm. That could be one valid way. Mhm. Sounds okay. Mhm. So in this one, if there is 1, that can be A, 2 can be B, 3 can be C, just like that. And each time when my string fits in this, I have an option, right? So for example, if it is 1, 2, I pick this, and also I can always pick either length 1 or length 2 string. Like either you can pick this or you can pick these both, right? Those are the only two options that I have. And then I can move to the next one. So, okay, first of all, let's create a hash map with these values in it, like this hash map. So, hash map string comma integer hm is equal to new hash map. Okay, so once we have created a hash map, we need to insert this, right? So we start from char ch is equal to a for int. Let's start with char ch is equal to 1, ch less than equal to, or instead of ch, let's start with string only. Less than equal to 26 I plus plus. String key is equal to integer dot toString I, right? And hm dot put I comma ch plus plus. So that is now our ch, right? Now what we can do is public int solve string as int at I and hash map string. This also is going to be character uh, character character. So now once you have this character hm, the next thing that it is going to be in 10 is equal to s dot length. So I can either pick element of 2 or I can pick element of 1, right? If I is greater than 0, then you basically return 0, right? Now int option 1 is equal to 0 and option 2 is equal to 0, right? Now uh, if I is less than n, that is for sure, right? So option string s1 will be s dot substring I and I plus 1, right? Now if hm dot contains key s1, then you would have option 1 is equal to, it like this one thing you can take I plus 1 and hm, right? Now if I is less than I plus 1 is also less than n, then string s2 is equal to s dot substring I comma I plus 2. If hm dot contains key s2, then your option 2 is 1 plus solve si plus 1 and hm, right? So you have taken 2 now. In the end you return option 1 plus option 2. So return solve s0 hm. I is only the identifier here, I think. Mm, s dot substring Okay. So for this, you can either break it at 1 and then you can break it at 2. That's one option. Or you can straightway break it at 2 and then you go to the next character that you want, right? Okay. So first you are at 0, right? So you take 1 and go to I plus 1. This time your I is 1. It is less than that. But in the end, it is the only possible one way only, right? So you can't. Yeah, because this is not another way. In the end, that if you reach here, then only it is one way. If you don't reach here, then you just return 0. Right? And now public int dp is equal to new integer is dot length plus 1. Uh, if dp of I is not equal to null, return dp of I. dp of I becomes your this and then press enter. Integer. Let's see the editorial ones. We are able to see. Okay. So we have been here for 50 minutes. One DDP problem, right? One DDP problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 problems are solved in this life. Hey everyone, I'm back. Next break we're gonna take around 8:30. It would be like 45 minutes so that it relaxes the body as well. Cool. Okay. Coin change. So you are given representing the amounts, return the fewest number of you need to make up the amounts of fewest numbers, right? So if you are not able to make public and solve, so you have coins and you will be at certain I and then you have a amount also, right? So if amount is equal to 0, then you return 0. If uh, coin is, if your amount becomes negative, for example, if amount becomes less than 0, then you return integer dot max value by 2. And otherwise, you have two options. You take this coin and stay here and reduce amount by coins of I. Or the second option is you decide to not use this one, keeping your amount stream and math.min option 1 option 2 public int integer dp, so two variables, so that's why we are gonna take coins dot length plus 1 and amount plus 1 and return solve coins 0 amount if dp of I comma amount is not equal to null, return dp of amount, and then dp of I comma amount is equal to oh, I did not do it on I, right? If I or I is greater than equal to coins dot length. So if coin is less than integer dot max value by 2, then you return coin 0 amount, otherwise you return minus 1. This is the base check, right? This should work. The word break next. Yep. Oh, I forgot to do run this thing. If anyone is joining in new, feel free to let me know if any questions or anything are there, right? Otherwise, I'll be focusing on solving. Okay, let's look at word break now. Given a string as dictionary, uh, dictionary of string as word return true if s can be segmented if just from the words of this, right? So that is what the question says. Mhm. So the intuition is basically same for this one also, right? So as we are kind of following a sheet, so it kind of breaks the fun also. But I've already solved this. So basically the thing is that at every step I can try, right? So I'll put first of all the dictionary in a hash map or something has set. Then I'll check whether leet is there. Well, this is there, this is there, this is there, and then same way I can form a key also. What would be the pattern that is changing? That is my substring, right? Like I and my substring. Those are the two things that are changing. So I'll put that in a hash map and probably put it across true or false. So that's how I'm thinking. Uh, First thing first, need to form a hash set. Dict is equal to new hash set. So then, so for string word in word dict dot add word, right? Now what you can do, right? So public boolean solve string s int I word dict, not word dict. You don't need. You just need hash set string dict, right? Now if s dot equals empty, that means that we have emptied, so return true. It was possible to make that, right? Uh, Otherwise, now you have two options, right? First of all, then this if v is greater than s dot length, then you return false. You're out of bounds, right? Now you have two options. Either you can break it here or you can go to the next one. So string sub is equal to s dot substring. I'm going to take the whole string. So 0, comma I, right? So boolean option 1 is also false. Boolean option 2 is also false. Now if dict dot contains sub, then your option 1 could be solve. So basically option 1 or solve. Your s becomes s dot substring, whatever is remaining, right? Uh, of I comma I, this will be like empty. And 0 and then dict, right? Option 2 would be that you don't want to break it just yet. So you increase your I, keeping your S same. Or option 2. So this should work, but let's see. Okay, expected false. So what is happening here is that when we are breaking in option 2, so string is dot substring I comma I new is. If s dot equals empty, that means that you have already solved all of the stuff, right? So you will break it at cat, then you can do a sand, then you'll be left with og, right? Hmm. And the next one, you want I comma I. So what is newest? Let's just check this one. Newest. So s dot zero I system dot out dot println sub. I think it is returning true for everything. So you first check for cats. If cats is true, cat is there. Then why? How come your new is? Oh, I whatever is after I. It should be like this. First lead code and next time your. So let's print now sub. New s is code I is 0. If I is greater than this. Yep. So now if I run it, it will give me. Yeah, so basically the only thing that will be separating is the key, right? If for this key will be your s, right? String keys s colon I, right? If dp dot contains key return dp dot get key. Hello Undertaker. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Let me just finish this problem, and if you have any questions, I would be happy to take them up. dp.put key. Disjoint is it set? Which problem is it? Yep, you can send probably it in a chat. I am also not an expert man with DSU, but we can try it. You can take a look at it later. You can put that in a chat. If you're not able to put a link or anything, you can probably share LeetCode number if it is a LeetCode problem. CF man, I don't do code forces, so there is a good chance that I won't be able to solve it. But I know DSU, but just to a interview level. Hey, since I'm applying for jobs in HM, since I'm applying for jobs in HM, what do you mean by since I'm applying for jobs? Okay, so it's a different sentence. Since I'm applying for job in HM, I heard they ask about scale. What if the scale is huge? Like, why would they reject if the scale is huge? I didn't get your question, Nishant. Yeah, hiring manager, I understood. What if the scale is huge? Like one, I think 5K per minute. Are you trying to say whether the scale is huge or the scale is not huge? Okay, not huge. Okay, okay. I don't think so. They will reject on that. Uh, you tell whatever the scale your application had, right? I had worked on internal application, so yeah, that I understood now. So you mean that what if the scale is not huge, like one per minute or 5K per minute, right? So 5K per minute is like 5,000 by 60. That is okay, or is it like very less? 5,000 by 60, 80. Yeah, that's okay. It's less. So, So that I don't think it should they should reject Nishant. So it might be specific to a team from a team to team perspective, but you should not lie. Whatever was the scale of your application, you should mention that. That would be my take on that. Don't lie, just tell whatever was the scale. And if let's say you have a less skill, you just tell them that that's one of the reason that I want to move out so that I get more scale application, right? So that would be my answer on that. Uh, DSA is important to get a job or I can get a job. See, Sultan, what happens is right, DSA is a very good thing to identify where the engineer stands, right? Uh, if we talk about full stack, right, you will be doing that once you clear the interview and get the job. You would be either working on the back end or you would be working on the front end or both, right, depending on your project. Now, why is it asked? Because full stack is a wider domain. So, for example, let's say you have experience with Python and in the team there is Java as a backend, right? So then what should I ask you? Should I ask you Python backend questions or should I ask you Java questions? If we talk about multi-threading, should I ask you multi-thread in Java? Should I ask you multi-threading in Python? Or what should I ask, right? So the horizon is very vast. That's why see DSA comes into picture, and DSA is like underlying thing of everything, basically. Data, you store data, right, in all the backend applications. So DSA is very, very important to get a job. And without that, you can get job in some of the startups and whatnot where you'll just be as LLD or HLD. Less important on DSA, but I would say if you have to get into a very good product company, so first 2 rounds or 3 rounds, depending on where you are in your career, is going to be DSA. So DSA is important in that aspect. And how much DSA is required? So you need to have a solid base, right? So I would say 200 to 300 problems, solid problems covering different aspects are good enough, right? And then you start applying. Kunal, I'll take a look at the question. I am not sure if I would also be. Let me open that. Okay, minimum path. Minimum path 2304 lead code. Okay, we'll take a look at this question. Mm, Coming back to what was there in the chat. Yeah, no worries, Sultan. But yeah, you focus on these 150 and then keep practicing, keep participating. You should be good to give the interview. I mean. That is the reason I'm trying to switch right now. I have 1 year and 6 months of experience startup, but now I want to work on scale to grow as SC. Yeah, that's a good reason to switch, man. You should be able to find a good scale and try probably some big startups like Rippling or maybe Zepto, Flipkart, these kind of things. They might have. Flipkart has a very good scale because we all use it, right? I have friends working in Flipkart. They really talk about these numbers. So Flipkart might be good one to try it out and I had an offer from Flipkart so I have created a video on their interview process if you would be interested. You can watch any other video on YouTube as well. BCA then probably you'll have to do MCA after that. As long as your DSA is strong, I think it should not create any problem. I have done friends who have done BCA and MCA. Generally, BTech is what I think, but BCA, MCA, it should be good. You'll have to check the JD. So what I would suggest you, Sultan, is go to different companies that you want, go to their career portals, and then see the JD, right? Uh, if they have put your this thing in that, it should be fine. Yeah, that's okay. Tier 3, right? That's okay. Make sure your DSA is solid. Make sure your DSA is solid, and then it's all good. Meanwhile, I'll let. So you are given m cross an integer grid consisting of, you are given m cross n grid consisting of 0 to m plus integers. You can move from a cell to any other cell in next row. That is, if you are in a cell x comma y, any cell in the next row. So if I'm at 5, I can go to 4, I can go to 0. If I'm at 4, I can go to 2, I can go to 1. So 5, 3, 4, 0, 2, 1, right? Each possible move have cost given by a zero index 2D array of move. Oh, I think I've seen this problem. Kunal, I'll come to this problem later. I'll give an idea. Okay, let me just think. Spend 5 minutes. I also have left DSA. I think I'm starting after a month or so just for fun. So, but I'll see what can come to my mind. Okay, let me open my notepad. So each possible move has cost. Okay, cost is there. So you have an array 5, 3, 4, 0, and 2, 1, right? This is the first thing. And then each move has a cost. I think so. When you are at 5, your cost is 9, 8. So each possible move have a cost m cross n, where move I is the cost of moving from I to j of the next row. The cost of moving from cell in the last row can be ignored. Yeah, because from last row you can't. The cost of path is the sum of all the values plus the sum of all the moves rated on the minimum cost that start from any cell in the first row and end in the. Okay, so you can start from any row in the any column in the first cell, right? So 5, 3, these are your starting points. So 5, comma 3, these are my two starting points. If there were more, then these would be my starting point, right? Now, what I would do after this, right? So move cost is 9. Let's create an array of move cost also 9, 8, 1, 5, 10, 12, 18, 6, 2, 4, 14, 3, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1. So they are saying that 0 to 0 move I is the cost of moving from cell value with value I to cell j. If I have moved to move from 5. Oh, I think okay. So for if you are at per certain element, this is the cost. If you are at 4, then 2 comma 4 is the cost. Okay, so then these cost you also have to maintain. I am sensing it as a multi BFS because you have multiple starting points, and then when you start from 5, you have two options. Either you could go to 14 or you could go to 3, right? So that is another thing that you would do. So for example, yeah, and then Dijiktar would also be involved. Yeah, complex problem. Yeah, I'll solve this one later. It is something to do with multi-BFS and Dijktra. Nerd. Trying all the ways and finding minimum won't work here. Might work also, but what I can think of is that you start from what I can think of is that you can start from 5 and 3, right? Those are your start points. So you put them in a priority queue or something like that because because we need minimum, right? Whenever minimum is there and the cost is variable, right? Like if these all would have been one edges, then we don't need Digitra, then it is just a BFS. So think of it as like five and then one cost here, one cost here. Then it becomes a BFS, multi-level BFS problem, right? You start from this and the minimum number of edges that you need. So it would be one. But now the thing here is that these have different weights. So this becomes a problem of finding shortest path, right? Where the weights are positive. That's why I can sense Dijktra in this. So what we would do is uh, distance of these nodes, this node, uh, to start with this, right? And then this three node, right? Now once you put these in priority queue, right? Five, because we need sum of all the values also plus the sum of cost. So we start with 5 and we start with 3. Let's say everything is 0 after that, then the 5 and 3 is your answer, right? Now once I put this in this, what is the next thing I can do? I'll pick this 5 up, right? And then I'll see that I can do 14 plus 4 and reach here, or I can do 3 plus 0 and reach here. So this would be 8, and then I have reached at 0, right? And then after that, the next thing I could take 9 more, 8 and 9, then 17 reach here, right? That is the one way. That's the shortest way. For this, Dijktra would be helpful. Yeah, I think I get the problem now. So it is just Dijktra only, plain Dijktra you need to apply. Nerdverse. Bro, I have done DSA in past, so I'm just revising things I like. I'm just following this sheet. For now, I'm revising DP. Uh, that's it. It's been a while since I have to revise graph also. You can see I have not done graph as well. So I have to do graph as well and 2D DP as well. I'm just doing this sheet. So I generally you should do lead code and all. Uh, yeah, sure. Let's solve this one then, I think. Let's solve it. It is a Dijktra, that is for sure, right? And in Dijktra, what we generally need is the cost, right? So we need the minimum one, and all the sums are less than zero, right? And we have multiple starting points. So what we would do is, so let's say that we have a priority queue, right? And PQ, Now I want to sort this priority queue based on something, right? And that would be the minimum distance. So this is like a min heap priority queue. So shortest distance comes on the first. Shortest distance, right? Now what next? So and 10 is equal to just basic stuff, right? Now what I would do next is that I need to know the minimum distance of each, right? So that's the rule of Dijktra. From this node, what is the minimum distance to reach any of the next node, right? So for that, let's create a distance array and we are going to fill it with the max value, right? And I in this arrays dot fill with I with this. No, no. I integer dot max value, right? So once we have done this, so I know the maximum I have initialized to that, right? But now we want to start our multi-BFS. We want to reach the end. So for that we need the minimum, we need our starting point can be all the any of the element from the first row, right? So let's do that. Int I is equal to 0, I less than n. These are all the first row, or no, I just want to traverse first column. My row is constant. So these are first columns, right? And then distance of 0 comma j, right, is going to be grid of I 0 comma j. So this means that uh, this, let's say, is our distance array. So I am putting 5 and 3 here to start with. And then these are my starting point as well. So pq dot add int. So what I can do here is I can say a of 0, uh, whatever is the distance, right? So probably distance of j comma 0. And what is this point is I comma j, right? So now I have got this. Now we need to apply Dijktra, and in Dijktra, if we have visited a particular cell, we don't want to repeat it. Hey, Kunal, can you put a message in chat if you're there? Because I don't want to uh, kind of be talking to myself, whether I can just silently code it out. It's only worth it if you're listening this. And I am making sense also to most important things. Cool, okay, I'll just do it for fun then. So, uh, 0j0j right now. So I have, so these are my queue, right? I have these two in my queue. Now next word, right? So now we need to do the Dijktra. Now in Dijktra, as I said, something, couple of things that we always do is we'll maintain a visited thing. New boolean n and m. Okay, okay, I'll continue, man. I thought you left. So I think there's slight lag, I think, in live streaming. So okay, now once you have done this, right? Once you have visited new boolean n. So now let's start. So while pq.size is not equal to 0, now you are at certain element, right? We'll say pq.pole. Now think with BFS and Dijktra is that whenever you reach something, that means that that is the shortest thing, right? Now, like once you have picked it up, right? That's when we mark it visited also. So for example, from here, if let's say 5 and 3 would only be there, right? We are assuming that everything else is 0. Then I would pick 3 first because that's the minimum thing, right? So, and that would be the answer. So now is at is equal to pq dot pole. Now this 3 has three things. We have x and y as our indexes, and we also have the cost, right? So let's break it down. Cost is at of 0, int x is at of 1, and int y is at of 2. Now they are saying that you drop it out if you reach end, right? So if your x is equal to n minus 1, that means that you have reached end, right? So you just return whatever thing you took to reach here, right? You just return that, and that is this cost. So that's that. Now let's say you are just starting, right? So as I mentioned, the next thing that we do in Dijkstra is, right, we mark it visited. So let's mark this cell at visited. So visited of x and y as true. Because otherwise again I might put it back in the queue and then it's like ending and it doesn't make sense, right? Now from this x I can go to x plus 1, right? I can go to the next s plus 1. Now because the next row, right? So for int I is equal to 0, and the another thing that they mentioned was that whatever is your index, that is something the price, right? The cost is given in a very weird manner. So you need to know the value of that thing. So that's like the most confusing part of this problem. So I can go to the next thing. So how do I go to the next is the next x, the next uh, j would be same. So let's call it xx here, or not xs, yy, right? Yy is less than m, yy plus plus. These are our y things. That would be same, right? Xx would be x plus 1, right? The next row. Now I'll add a check also. These should both will be in the minimum thing only, because if it would have been, let's say, the end point, then I would have failed here only, right? So now this is the part where they have kind of made it silly, that the cost is whatever is the value in this. So in 5, the cost of moving to the next 5 is 14 comma 3. Uh, so value is grid of x comma y, whatever is the value there, and to cost is what is the name of the function? Sorry, array move cost, this value, and where you want to go, right? I want to go to yy. So these are the two things. And if visited of xx and yy is false, right? So this is plain BFS as of now. So what is the new cost? Int new cost will be whatever is your to cost plus whatever was your cost to reach here plus the value where you want to go, right? This is the new cost. Now, if this cost is less than whatever, if you had already, if this element is already in your queue, right? So you will say this jj, or not jj, that's yy. So that means that I have found something better, right? So if I have to just think of it, see, this 3 can go to both of this, right? So this 3 is saying that I can go here with 9, but here this 5 comma 3 is saying that I can go here with 8. So eventually we are going to use 8, right? So this of x comma yy is going to be new cost, and then you are going to put it into Q also. So new cost uh, xxyy. Uh, what else? Okay, let's. So is always possible. So if we reach here, then we can just return minus 10. or -1. Let's run it once. Okay, some typos here and there. Let's run it again. I think I might have solved this one way back. I don't remember it, but I might have solved it. Yeah, cool. That's the problem. For some reason it is very slow, but as long as it pass Dijkstra DP, or we can solve it with DP also. Nice. Yeah, Dijkstra seems because there are a couple of hints that rules out Dijkstra, right? Couple of why Dijkstra? Because I'm just talking to myself for a minute now. So why Dijkstra? Because couple of things, right? If let's say everything had same move cost, so the normal BFS would have worked. Then I don't need Dijkstra. Dijkstra comes in when you have a weight, and this is just a weight, right? So this is just a graph only. This is just a graph given in a grid format, and then this is a very poorly, I think, designed. The move cost is very poorly designed. This itself takes like 10 minutes to understand. I had solved this problem. That's why I kind of understood this thing. If I had not solved this one earlier, I would have like probably not. This is not a problem that these kind of problems come in online assessment. Clearly, this will come in online assessment. Great explanation and approach. Thank you, sir. Happy that it was helpful. Anyway. Okay, where were we? We were in this, right? These two. Okay, I'll solve these two and then I'll take a break for another 15 minutes. Need to relax, I think. This is the longest we have. Like, this is like from 15 minutes coding, right? 50 minutes. So, I'll solve those two fast and then I'll take a break. Oh, nice. All the best. Google could ask you this, I think. This could come up in a Google interview. Maybe slightly less comprehensive version of this might come up. Any tips? I would say that focus on all of these, right? These are must focus on graph and DP, right? You solve all of these and revise these. And then in an interview, just relax. I think when you have done good DSA lead code contest, then it would be easy. So all the best and just solve your DP graph. Then you should be golden. Cool. Let me type it out also. The very Cool, okay. Time to move to problem solving. Hmm. This is my last year of BCA. Should I focus on MCA prep? To be honest, Sultan, I did BTech. So it depends on how placement happens for BCA. Uh, I am not the best person to give any advice on this because I don't really know what is the placement scene, right? So I would say is that never stop DSA, probably spend 1 hour, 30 minutes. And if you really want to do MCA, you can do for it. I have friends who have done MCA and then got into good companies, but say for from BC, I have not heard, but I am not sure, right? It should be possible, not possible. I am not the best person to comment on it, right? So probably you can Google it and then try to find if there are any Reddit or BCA Reddit around that, right? So really sorry, man. Uh, But DSA is something that you should never leave if you are in software engineering field, right? As long as it's still being asked in so many companies, you can see Kunal above, he is prepping from Google and still solving the problems, right? So, but probably once you do MCA, after MCA, I've seen there are good opportunities for jobs and whatnot. Not sure how's the scene after BCA. So LIS, there are two ways of doing this one. One is that you kind of take two parameters and the other one is binary search. Binary search is pretty tricky and my head is not working fine, so I'll probably move to this one for now. And I'll maximum product array is again Kadeen, I think. Start learning DSA is that you can start solving this. You can start solving this, read solve all the easies first. If you're not able to solve, watch this YouTube video. Uh, this is good. Don't worry if you're not able to solve. I have not done that Kunal Kunshwa playlist. I believe he is good. All the YouTubers out there are pretty good, those who teach DSA. So you can watch any video. Main thing is that start solving problems. Sandy DP. Yeah, I am solving DP problems. It has been like how many problems we have solved? Solved around 9 problems, which is very slow. Let's solve this one and take a break for next 10 minutes or so. Given an array, return true if the partition is subset can be equal to. This is again two non-empty subarrays are only possible if the sum is divisible by 2, right? If the sum is odd, then it's never possible. And then once you have formed the sum, then it just becomes finding whether that sum exists, right, in an array. If that exists, that means that other is also the same. So for example, 1, 5, 11, 5, sum is 22. So then I'll find for 11. If I can get 11 out of this, then it is good. 1, 2, 3, 5. This is like 11. Can't be split. So that means that that is not there. So I have learned DP from Aditya Verma. I think most of people who know DP would have seen. He's a legend, DP legend. So Aditya Verma, he's a DP legend. So just would like to give mention to him here. And never, no one has explained DP just like he explained. So if anyone has not seen his videos, I think they are worth watching. Sandy has seen. Yeah, he's good. He's one of the best out there. Any tips for DSA? Yes, you learn a programming language and then you start solving problems. DSA, how it is taught in colleges is very different because will they'll talk about all the data structures and algorithms, but the main thing is solving problems using that. So in this, there is an algorithm called dynamic programming that is involved that we will take a look. I'll solve this one. What language do you? I use Java. Java. Int n is equal to nums dot length. Um, so int sum is equal to 0 for int num and nums sum plus num if sum modulo 2 is not equal to 0 return false int target is equal to sum by 2, right? uh, so answering your question, Nazir, so learn a programming language, and once you have learned a programming language, solve these problems, right? 90% of the time you will not be able to solve. Which language is best to, as I'm totally beginner, I would say Python. Python is good to start with. So Python is good for total beginner. Start with Python and then slowly, gradually, because Java has a very heavy syntax. Python is easy going. Start with Python. Python is good enough. And I think LeetCode's video are also in Python. So Python. Yes, I do have a LinkedIn account. So I can paste my LeetCode account and that has my LinkedIn and GitHub. So you guys can take a look at it. Bro, I do this LeetCode. Even I don't do this also. This is just I'm doing for fun. Generally, I do this. Uh, there's a LeetCode list as well. So if you go to, they had a list. Yeah, top interview questions, right? This is good. It isn't, might be in study plan. Yeah, this top 150. This is what I used to do. This is crazy good. You don't have to go here and there to do a list. I have done this also plenty of times. And then LeetCode 755 is also good. Uh, Public and solvent. Yeah, and anyway, it doesn't matter which list. You can do any list out there. Just keep on revising it so that it kind of sticks with you. And in sum, if sum is equal to 0, return true. If I is greater than equal to nums dot length, return false. Uh, so you always has two options, right? One option is that Boolean option one is that nums I plus 1 sum minus nums of I. Option 2 is that you don't want this. into if dp of I comma sum is not equal to null, then dp of I comma sum, dp of I comma sum is this. Oh, I did not check for if less than. I always miss that. Cool. Okay, so these are done. This I know that you can either do with binary search. I want to do this one with binary search, but that will take a lot of my brain, so I'll take a break. Mm, What is the time now? Time is 8:53, so we'll continue at mm, it's time. Break till 9:05 p.m. IST. Assuming that by participating, by doing DSA, LLD, HLD, and all that, and then giving proper interviews. That's how I went into Microsoft. Cool, I'll stop this timer because now we are not actually solving problems, right? Hey everyone, I'm back. Mhm. So the best way would be go to the career sites of different companies. A lot of companies offer summer internship. Create a list of 100, go to LinkedIn, follow different companies. All the apps that you use, Facebook, it's tough to get into Meta like, but still, all the apps that you use, right? You use Zepto, you use Blinkit, you use Zomato, all these, right? Try everything. Try all the companies out there and then apply to their portal. Go to their portal and see summer internship, 2 month internship, and then straight away apply. Ask for referral if possible. But yeah, go and apply. Right? Lot of startups out there. See if there are any openings at Naukri or things like that. Mostly DSA would be asked, I think, for internship level coding questions, something around something around, and also internshala. These places like these would also be good. So those are a couple of things that I would suggest. I think let me just edit this to LeetCode and chatting and chat because I would be only be able to be here for another 2 hours. Why is this happening? Oh, this is the whole thing. But yeah, that's okay. We can type it out here, right? Create a box. No, when you practice, you can keep on remembering, right? You're just starting out, you're in second year, so slowly it will happen. But yeah, you create your notes and stuff like that. I don't have any notes, anything specific. I've been doing it for a long time now. But yeah, I would say that it's better to keep notes and all that stuff. Robot can move to down or right to total number of paths. Hmm, I don't know why they call it M and it should be N. Yes, that is the book. That is the book. But you are in second year, right? It might be very early for you, Arjun. So system design generally is needed when you are SD2, like when you have 2 years of experience or so. You are in college, so for you DSA is the most important thing. But this is the book. This one. Not at your level. It will be asked when you are senior, like when you have 2 years of experience. One more thing, Arjun, as you are in college, right? Talk to the most important thing for you is talk to your seniors. You might have seniors in third year and fourth year, right? Randomly go to them and ask them for advice. Those who are already placed, right? They would be give you the exact thing that is currently working out, right? I never did that, so I highly recommend that to you. Go do that. Go talk to your seniors in your college, right? Don't be shy. When someone is in 1 year, first year, second year, the the worst thing they can do is be shy, right? Avoid that. Just go and talk to people and ask how to get into X and Y companies in your college. They would be able to give you the best advice from where you are at. I change it. I always call N as rows and M as columns. They call it the opposite. They are saying that M is the rows and N is columns. But as N comes first, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. M and M comes first, right? But I keep it N, M, N. So it's my bad, but that's the practice that I follow. N is rows, N is rows, M is columns. It's my bad, but that's what I'm used to now. So can't change that. So return solve. Yeah, row and column is best. And in Google interview, I think you should use row and column. string as string A, string B, j is equal to A dot length, time is equal to B dot length. Return the length of their longest common substring, right? So basically return 0. So if, if A is equal to B dot caret J, option is 1 plus. Yeah, no worries, man. All the best for your career. Yes, you should do projects as well. So what I would say is that do something around Java, Spring Boot, or probably Node.js as a backend, and then full stack, build any full stack web application. Probably you can go watch something from Udemy. As long as you understand it, that's good enough. And build it yourself and put it on your resume. Don't worry too much about it, right? So you need to understand three components: UI, backend, and then database. But main is DSA. DSA is must. Yes, I think this is good. One stack and then move to Java and Go. You move to one, either Java and or Go, right? Both are used for the same purpose, so no point in learning both of them. And then probably skip Go. Go is not required. And then DSA is good. And CPP is good. Good language you have picked. Hi Vijesh. You don't have to call me sir. Yes, every night. Arjun, so probably in on my YouTube you can see my live stream. The plan is to do every day, but in the past 4 months I've done like 50 live streams, so you can see I'm not that consistent, but going forward I will be live every day. So you can see my live streams here. Mhm. You can see these are the live streams. Been doing with different thumbnails. Started it 3 months back. So ideally I would have reached 100 by now. 100, but I was not consistent. So find the maximum you can make complete as many and buy one with the following after you cannot buy it in the next day. So on the next day that you for fun man. I do live stream for fun. You can ask the same question to Arjun. He said that I helped in some way. That's another reason. you are in a transaction, then only you can't buy, right? Uh, Microsoft is great, bro. Great culture, everything is good. Uh, Great culture, everything is good. Tech stack changes, C sharp, stuff like that. Sometimes Python, sometimes React for the UI. So it varies. Mostly C sharp. So every time I would have two options. If uh, flag is one, then that means that I can't buy again, right? I can sell only. So I have two choices. Either I sell at this price and then I can't buy the next day, but after that I can buy. Or option two is that I don't sell it yet. I keep it with me. Flag remains same. Or I buy it now. So I buy it and then save prices. So then you move to next and your flag becomes one. Or I still don't buy it and then just move forward, flag keeping the flag same. So return map dot max option one and option two. Vijesh, I have replied to your question. Let me know if you have anything else. Bye, Arjun. Have a nice day. Likewise, it was great talking to you as well. Yeah, sure, man. I can do your resume review. Feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. Um, my uh, somewhere in the chat, I have shared my lead code. So in my lead code, you will be able to find my LinkedIn. You can ping me. I'll do your resume review. I also have created a video on a resume. So watch that video as well. That might help you. So this video, I think if you're this resume tips and trick, right? I can share its link again, but again, I can do your specific resume also. That also I can do anytime. I'm happy to help. No worries, man. Before you share your resume with me, right? I'll give you kind of homework that make sure you follow the same format that I mentioned in the video. That is like a standard format that is followed everywhere, right? Keep your resume in that aligned that. I'm not saying that you watch my video, you can just go to Jake resume and download that and follow that format, right? That would be best. So no fancy colors, nothing like that. Plain straightforward resume. Yes, it's called Jake resume template. It's there on Jake resume overleaf. This one follow this pattern. Okay. This problem I think we just did, right? Similar problem we just did. Cool guys, I'll be ending the stream now. Missed by 1 hour or so, but I'll continue this tomorrow. Need to go somewhere and stream.